You know how in fashion, everything comes back into fashion? Like things that you wouldn't be caught dead in comes back into fashion. Well, marketing's like that. Here is the strategy that everyone's doing again. There was an oldie, but a goodie, and it's workshops. Here are 5 ways to get into companies' lunch and learns that you need to know. Here's one thing to know about marketing. We find something that works, and then we do it so much that it stops working. Facebook ads are going up in cost. Instagram ads are going up in cost. Google ads, pay-per-click was exactly the same. But you know what has never not worked? Lunch and learns, getting into corporates. I remember someone who did their first one once said to me, it's like taking candy from a baby. Here are 5 ways to book corporate events more than you can even handle. Biggest saying ever in marketing is the worst number in marketing or business is 1. So if you're not doing lunch and learns, if you're not going to corporate events, you're leaving a ton of opportunity on the table. They are the most lucrative opportunity for a lot of the docs we work with. And we talk about multi-7-figure docs that can do 2 to 3 a week. But the trick is, how do you get into these events? That's the hard thing, right? So I'm gonna give you 5 strategies of how to get into them. And the first strategy is an oldie but a goodie. And what's so interesting about this, much like fashion, things come back into fashion and they work. So you should do them. So in order of what I believe is the easiest for you to get going, strategy number 1 is send an email to your entire patient base. I literally invented this strategy. You know, when I taught something called New Patient Avalanche, I didn't understand why people who were teaching people how to get into corporate events weren't mining their biggest asset, which was their database or their past patients. And we literally wrote this email, sent it out, and I have had people book literally companies with thousands of people that all they ever did was send this email out, and they did 1 to 2 corporate events every single month for like 2 to 3 years off this one lead, because they booked like a big BMW or Mercedes-Benz or some big company that had thousands of employees. So I'll talk about that in a moment. If you hook a whale, what to do? I'll tell you about that in a moment. So here's what you do. You're going to send an email to your entire patient base, and the subject line says, do you want us to come to your work for free? And then in the email copy, we're going to give people an opportunity. You're going to tell them that you regularly do corporate wellness days in companies all around the local area, and you've had some availability open up, or that you started to do them again, and they're always sold out. So before you advertise them to the general public, you want to give your loyal patients opportunity to book these straight away, and you're going to send it out. Always send more than 1 email. So send a second email, literally says re, just type re in front of the same subject line. Don't change anything in the email, send it again. Send another one that says forward, don't change anything, and send it out again. Whenever I teach this, somebody books an absolute whale. Someone watching this right now is going to make 6 figures from this strategy, guaranteed. Not all of you, but somebody will. Are you always going to book a company with this strategy? It depends how long you've been open for. If you've just opened your practice, you haven't got that many people to send it, but almost everybody watching this should book at least 1 company, and more in many cases, with this strategy if you regularly do this in your practice. Send an email to your list and ask them if they would like you to come to them for free. Strategy number 2 is Fishbowls. You know, what's a fishbowl? Fishbowl at the front desk. This strategy is tweak the strategy from another strategy I'll be teaching a little bit later, but this is again off the back of understanding that the biggest asset in your business is your patient base, the people you've got in there, the people who've already said yes to care. So why not mine that within the practice more? So what we did in our 8 offices is we'd have a corporate health month. By the way, corporate health month is whenever you want it to be. So this month could be corporate health month, and we used to put a few pieces or props in the practice to make this work. So take some notes here. Number 1, fishbowl at the front desk. Number 2, you need a A5 piece of paper that has instructions for them what to do. So an A5 piece of paper with instructions for them to fill out to enter this competition. Number 3, you need a poster at the front desk that explains what the fishbowl or corporate health month is. And here's the gist of the strategy. You want to put a poster up saying it's corporate health month. In order to win a free corporate health day, enter for your company to stand a chance to win. Just for entering, you're going to stand a chance to win a lucky draw of a big prize. We've done iPads, Kindles. We've even done a holiday or vacation for 2 to Europe, practices in the United Kingdom. We've done that before. It worked amazing. And what happens is people take the A5 piece of paper, they fill in their details, which is typically name, contact details, name of company, key points now, number of employees in company, and the best HR person to talk to or contact person to talk to. So this campaign only works, in my experience, where you have a double prize. The lucky draw for the corporate health day, where you pay for lunch for everyone and you do a cool corporate experience for them. And 2, for them personally to win a prize just for entering. Couple extra things with the campaign is sometimes people phone me and they're like, hey Ryan, nobody's entering or no one's putting their little applications in the fishbowl. Now, here's the thing. I don't suggest put business cards. You can use business cards, but I suggest if in the practice, getting them to fill out this document because you get more information. Information is powerful. Number 2, I normally say to them, send me a picture of the fishbowl, and they'll send me a picture of an empty fishbowl. Now, do you want to eat at a busy restaurant or a quiet restaurant? No one wants to eat at a quiet restaurant. So why would people enter something that nobody's entering? People want to do things that other people do. So a little trick for you, an important part of the process is fill the fish bowl up with a few applications yourself so that it looks and gives people confidence that other people are entering. That is key. It needs to be like at least a quarter full when people are first told about the campaign. Then you're going to take all those applications and you're going to phone them afterwards, get someone in the business to phone them, and everyone's a winner. And you're going to say the following script. Mary, congratulations, you won the lucky draw or you won the prize for a free corporate health day at your company. And then you're going to start mining more information. To qualify, you just have to have more than X amount of people. Now you should have that information from the application form, which you have qualified. By the way, if they only fill out like 2 employees in their business, they're probably not going to win. You understand? So then you're going to say you've won. When's a good time to get that book? I see that on the form. You said that Mary's a good person to talk to. You didn't put her contact details in, for example. Is it okay for me to be in touch with Mary? Congratulations, and you're going to get the date booked. Now, typically you'll probably book, let's say 20 to 30% of the people that have won that qualify in the campaign. And also don't forget to have a winner. So when someone wins the iPad or the vacation for 2, make sure you post about it, tell everyone about it. It's a big deal because you're going to do another one in the future. So you're always training your audience or members or patients about the thing you're going to do in the future. You're going to do this again, right? So you want to make sure they see, hey, someone won an awesome prize. And also don't be cheap. Give something away of huge value. We gave a vacation for 2 away. Was it worth it? We made multiple 6 figures from this campaign because we went into companies that we still got to go into for years afterwards, even though we got it once. So the third way to get into a company is again mine the biggest asset within the business. So we work with 2 or 3 practices that book at least once a week a corporate event. The CAs are booking them. So they have tech doctors that do the initial consultations or at least look at the history forms when someone fills it in. So a key little tip for you guys here is point number 3 is CAs booking them. And this really centers off the fact of you getting the information from the history form of what company they work for, or do they work for a company. Incentivizing CAs to book these events, at least notify a booker in the company that we have a hot prospect, works incredibly well within businesses. The key thing to get right is how much do you incentivize, what's the right amount, and you've got to work backwards from what's the return on investment that you get from getting into a company with at least 25 people. There can be criteria to the commission, and that is, hey, if you get me into a company, at least 25 people show up or 20 people show up to the event, that qualifies for the incentive or the commission. But again, really think about this. What is it worth for you to be in front of 40 people at a corporate event and booking 20, 10, 5 new patients every single time? If your average case value is $2,000, just think about that for a second. If one of your team members gets you into a company with 50 people sitting in a tour and you book 15 new patients from that, you can have a 2-tiered commission structure also, which is you get $250 every time you book me one, and then you could say, hey, and then you'll get $20 for every single person that books on the day if they're coming to the day. Extra point here, if this is particularly a skill set of yours and you know and you see the value that I see, i.e., I always say I can grow practice to any volume you want. If you book me 2 to 3 corporate talks a week, I could grow to any volume you want, because that's my skill set. I love doing it. I've done that. The biggest record we've had by doing this was 92 new patients in a single event. It works that well if you get in front of the right amount of people. This is for you to understand the nuances in your business and incentivize appropriately to make sure people do the thing you want them to do, and so that they win and you serve the community better. Step number 3 is incentivize your CAs to get these booked for you. Number 4 is dropboxes as restaurants. Now, the reason I've done this at number 4 is the first 3 you can do within your practice for the next 24 hours just about. Number 4 and 5 require a higher skill set, more planning, etc., but can be super lucrative. Some of you already rolled your eyes, but you won't roll your eyes when you realize that some of my top students are booking 2 to 3 a week. There's a doc that I know really, really well that I have worked with and helped him grow his practice $7 million a year. He does 10 a week with this strategy. He's in 27 restaurants. It's either that you don't believe in the strategy, or 2, you just haven't had the time to go out and make the relationship with the restaurants, or 3, I don't even know what number 3 is, but you've got to do them. So let me tell you how to get into restaurant. The strategy revolves around you leaving a Dropbox within the restaurant and you getting the restaurant to promote the fact that people must drop their business cards in this little Dropbox for a chance to win a free lunch. You might be thinking, why in the world would a restaurant agree to do this for me? It's interesting, they say teacher learns the most. And I didn't know about this strategy when I had my 8 offices. And then when I started working with more chiropractors, I was like, damn, I didn't know about these strategies when I had 8 offices. And I have gone on to learn so much from my students who are killing it with this. This is how you make it work. I'm gonna go through the whole process. If you regularly eat at a restaurant close to you, typically not a chain, although you can give a go with a chain, you wanna go to the front desk and say, hey, is the manager present? I'd really like to speak to the manager. Or you wanna approach the front desk and say, quick question, do you guys do catering? They'll say yes or no. And they say, great, I'd love to speak to the manager about a catering opportunity we have or an event we have coming up where we need catering. The restaurant's going to be thinking an opportunity to make some more money. Then when the restaurant manager comes through, hopefully you already know them because you frequent there and you make sure you tell them how awesome the restaurant is. Then once you've got rapport with the manager or an opportunity to speak to the manager, you will tell them that, hey, my name is Dr. Ryan and we partner with local restaurants and we do corporate events in local restaurants and we use your restaurant to cater for the event. Now again, it's an opportunity for them to make money and do business. And all you have to do to be part of the partnership is leave a little Dropbox at the front desk and encourage people to put their business cards. We'll take care of everything else. We'll phone them, we will get them booked, and then we'll tell you once we've got them booked and we cater for them. Some events can be up to 50 people in the event, so it's a really great day for you and for us. And we do a quick little health class, 30-minute talk, and you guys come do the catering. How's that sound? Another little nuance. With the Dropbox at the front desk, very, very important is that all it says on it, win a free lunch. The branding is not your practice, it's not anything to do with chiropractic, and it does not have your name or key. It doesn't have the words win a free corporate event, lunch and learn, none of that. It just says win a free lunch in the branding of the restaurant. Every single month or every single week, you go collect the cards, and let's say you get 10 cards from every single restaurant. The more restaurants, the better. You will phone those cards and you will tell them that they won. They will still think you're the restaurant when you phone them. Hey, I'm phoning from Chuck E. Cheese. Not Chuck E. Cheese, but you know what I mean. You're phoning from Chuck E. Cheese and you have won. You entered a competition last week and you won a free lunch. They're going to probably not remember entering or who you are, and then they're going to sound confused, to which you are going to then take the opportunity to explain to them. When you explain to them, make sure you say, hey, well, you entered a competition to win a free lunch. You've won a lunch for your entire company. How it works is, to qualify, you just need to have more than 20 employees in the company. We choose a day, we buy a lunch for the whole company because you've won this, and then we have partnered with a local chiropractor that does a quick little health class. That is the entire strategy, right? I'm going to talk about the nuances of the corporate day in a moment. There's ways to do it and how to close and all of that. That's a separate little video. But to get in, this video is all about how to get in. That's the nuances of this particular campaign. One more thing, when you phone and tell them about what they've won for their whole company, and to qualify you need 20 people, then say, are you the right person to talk to about getting this book? Or is there someone else in the company or your team I can talk to get this book who's more appropriate? It's important to talk to the key decision maker. And the fifth and final strategy to booking corporate events or lunch and learns is having someone actually phone local companies and do a lot of research around the area to get in. So we had 2 full-time people doing this. The reason I taught dropboxes in restaurants as well as the strategy last is because they're the hardest. That doesn't mean they're not worth doing. Key point. I had 2 incredible people doing it for me, and we'd book up to 10 a week across my 8 offices, so at least 1 a week per practice. And they had to do a lot of legwork to do this. My warning to you is this: there are people within the profession that do this for you. I think they're incredibly valuable. I think they're priced really affordably, and I think you're gonna have to kiss a few frogs with them, and that's fine. Because the alternative is hire, train, monitor, manage someone to do it within your business, which also can be super valuable and lucrative for you, but that's gonna be you doing that. I did that. I did manage to hire 2 people that were incredibly skilled in it, and it worked really well for us. So we call that elbow grease, getting out there, doing it. Now the key is we employed them both, and we also incentivized them very handsomely to get those booked. Does it work? It absolutely works. Is it right for every single chiropractor? Maybe not, because hiring people, training people, monitoring people, salespeople specifically, is one of the hardest things I've ever done in business. So that's why I put it at number 5. Either outsource this to someone who does this for companies or practices full time, or if there's someone in your business, like an ex-CA or a CA that's got let's say a gift of the gab here, it might be the best use of their time to do that if they want to do that. But make sure you incentivize appropriately. A couple things to have ready. Make sure companies will say, please send me some more information. Make sure you've got some of that stuff ready, emails, and then make sure you've got some at least testimonies or reviews from companies you've been in before saying Dr. Ryan was amazing, we had an awesome informative day, they provided lunch, food, it was really, really great. That is 5 ways to get into companies. So I hope you found this helpful. That's how you can get into companies and crush it. And the more digital media becomes harder and harder and harder to get results from paid traffic, the more my students are going, F you, digital media, I got ya. And I'm gonna book these and crush it to these. And I want you to crush it to this. So if this was helpful for you, just follow the steps, dude. I promise you can do it. So if you found this helpful, like, follow, share, and I'll give you some more nuggets of this. And if you want more suggestions for videos, I'd really appreciate it in the chat. Put in there what next topic you'd like me to teach. I am going to teach one exactly on how to deliver these very soon. Hope it's helpful. See you soon.